welcome to this edition of, I think, the second edition of Wolf News, hosted by yours truly, the Conservative Wolf. Thank you for watching, guys, as always, and I appreciate you, and I apologize for it being so long since I've actually done the Wolf News, but I will try not to let that be too long in coming. Matter of fact, I believe, let me know in the comment section how often you'd like to see Wolf News. If you'd like to see it once a week, twice a week, or maybe 3 times a week, something like that. And I'll be happy to oblige everybody. So let's get into some of the stories. And the information is being brought to you by the Officer Tatum, the Tatum Report. TatumReport.com. Check it out. Trusted news source. B. Tatum and his team has worked very hard to bring us unbiased news reports, fact-checked, and stuff that's pretty easy to go and see for yourself. And I like that. So, as after all, it's up to us to bring real news, not the fake news. So, guys, let's get on to the first story that I found. You guys may find this interesting. Actor George Clooney, one of the many Hollywood elites that are, of course, anti-Trump, and one of the ones that, and don't get me wrong, man, George Clooney is one of my favorite actors. I like George Clooney. I think he's a great actor. I think he's pretty good, but politically, I think a lot of these people, these actors, I believe they need to stay out of the politics. They really do. Do what you're getting paid to do. Act in the movie. There's nothing wrong with having your opinion, but when you're gonna take the political stage and be all out there like that, I mean, of course, that's a whole horse of a different color. Nothing wrong with, look, if you don't like the president, that's fine. That's all well and good. No one's saying you have to, but at some point, if you have to give a damn about the country that you live in, but these people are out of touch. A lot of these actresses, they're out of touch with a lot of things. Some of them are. But anyway, let's get to the story. George Clooney has been blasted by the Hungarians and as an imbecile and a George Soros puppet. And it's an interesting article. It says, speaking ahead of the release of a new post-apocalyptic film on Netflix, George Clooney, 59, said that, quote, "We weren't in the middle of a pandemic when making the film, but there were still all these other elements, these elements of how much hate and anger all of us are experiencing in this moment of history all over the world," adding, "Go to President Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil or Prime Minister Viktor Orban in Hungary. Look around. Lots of anger and hate. The film takes place in 2049. If you played it out, this could very well be what our reality is if this kind of hate is allowed to fester." This is George Clooney's remarks. So, the Hungarians didn't take too kindly to that, and so Prime Minister Orban has anti-mass migration, multiculturalism. Fidesz party enjoys huge public support, with Hungarian politicians branding the actor an imbecile, and according to the Times, suggested that he could not find Hungary on a map or even with technological help. Yeah, so they're pretty much and the Hungarian prime minister already knows George Soros is a crook, like most people with good sense do. The Hungarian prime minister was quoted as saying Soros is one of the most corrupt people in the world. And see, George Soros is always attacking them because he feels that they should just let everybody in, like a lot of these nut jobs do. They think that people should have open borders and, sing kumbaya and just let any and everybody in your country unchecked. And no, nobody with good sense is going to do that. You wouldn't let somebody come in your house. You lock your doors for a reason, right? Thank you. Let's move on. The Hungarian government's official spokesmen were a little more tactful with Thomas Menzer of the country's foreign ministry saying Clooney should be respected as an actor, but that his words on Hungarian politics were foolish and nobody should treat him like a global political oracle. And goes on to say, let's just say Viktor Orban, the prime minister, doesn't have sleepless nights because George Clooney talks nonsense about him, he added on a Facebook post. Oras Farkas, a spokesman for the country's government information center, was clear on where he believed Clooney's comments were coming from. And I quote, "There has been a dispute between George Soros and the Hungarian government over immigration for years. So Soros uses every opportunity to attack the Hungarian government. It is quite frustrating that there are actors, even non-political actors, who carry out such political intent for Soros," he remarked, end quote. Thomas Deutsch, a founder of the Fidesz and an elected member of the European Parliament, was more straightforward, dismissing the actor as an American imposter talking bullshit about our homeland. Wow, yeah, and it's also an article here that's talking about Hungary donates funds to repair Greek churches vandalized by migrants. The Hungarian government is donating $30,000 for the repair of Christian churches vandalized by migrants on the Greek island of Lesbos. Wow. Interesting. And see, that's what happens when that's why you have to check these people coming in your country. You have to. It's important. Goes on to say Clooney, for his part, denied any close connection with Soros, admitting that he met with the plutocrat at a United Nations meeting once with his son at one of the World Economic Forum's summits for political, corporate, and multimedia elite Davos, Switzerland, but nothing more. It quotes, it says, "I would be ashamed not to speak out publicly against the kind of authoritarianism in which the Orban regime controls the media, subjects companies to draconian tax rules, and silences free press," he added. Ironically, in a statement published by the independent Hungarian news outlet Telex, Clooney's wife, Emil Clooney, a Lebanese human rights activist with dual British citizenship, categorized Hungary alongside with North Korea as an autocratic regime as long ago as 2018. Wow. Reporting earlier, President Trump basically threw the gauntlet down for Biden, saying, listen, if you can prove that 80 million votes came to you and it wasn't fraudulent, I'm cool with that. But ladies and gentlemen and ladies, we know 80 million votes for Joe Biden. Come on, really? I mean, I mean, nobody. The only people who support that narrative are the anti-Trump people, the ones who hate the president, the ones who honestly believe that the media don't lie, the ones who believe everything the media says. So those are the folks that would believe that Joe Biden had 80 million votes. Terrence K. Williams did a live on Facebook. I shared his live, and of course Facebook took it down, where he was basically saying that, how is it that Joe Biden does a live stream and only had 1,000 views? Now, this is the guy who had 80 million votes, right? 80 million votes. The guy does a live stream and only 1,000 people watch. Let's think about that. But anyways, guys, let's see. I'm going to read you the tweet. President Trump said Biden can only enter the White House as president if he can prove that his ridiculous 80 million votes were not fraudulent or illegally obtained. When you see what happened in Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, massive voter fraud, he's got a big unsolvable problem. And of course, Twitter, and I'll show you guys. Twitter is got the little red caption down there saying this claim about election fraud is disputed. I mean, they're touting this narrative, man, and I'm telling you, it's just ridiculous. The article also goes on to say, I'm sure that everyone LOL'd a little at Twitter's red flag at the bottom of the tweet. I've got a screenshot just in case Dorsey's jackboots send the tweet down the memory hole. As always, the case with Trump's best trolling, the triggering effect on the libs is worth the price of admission. What they're calling delusion, conservative Republicans are calling a spine. There is no quit in this president. We're almost 4 years into this, and that fact is still a new thing for Republicans. We're just barely getting used to it after decades of weak GOP leaders rolling over and playing dead whenever the Democrats and their media mouthpieces told them to. That's true. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote that I want the counting and the lawsuits to go on as long as possible, both because of what's happening right now is necessary if we're going to be able to stop it in the future, and also just despite the Democrats, after how awful every single one of them has been these past 4 years. There is a lot of fight left in President Trump. The surrender monkey Republicans who are telling him to give up are having a rough Thanksgiving Day now. And that's a beautiful thing. Okay, guys, this next to last story is going to be mind-blowing and awesome. As you remember, I covered on a Conservative Wolf Daily Dose or another episode recently that Candace Owens had a lawsuit going against the Facebook so-called fact checkers, which incidentally my understanding was that the company that the fact-checking company is owned by a guy who used to work for CNN. Go figure. So anyway, guys, Candace Owens wins her case against fact checkers. It says conservative author and commentator Candace Owens challenged left-leaning fact-checking site PolitiFact, a partner with Facebook, over a false rating and won. Not only did PolitiFact remove their false rating and retract an article on why Owens' video was allegedly false, but the site offered an added correction admitting their fault. Wow. Boy, something to be said for this may seem like a small victory, but this is a big victory. This is a huge victory. And I hate annoying pop-ups. The article goes on to say that Candace Owens' video, which was posted on November the 12th, offered commentary on the 2020 presidential election and was captioned, "Joe Biden is literally and legally not the president-elect. So why is the media pretending he is?" The video was hit with a false rating, and as noted by Owens, theoretically every single person who shared the post was alerted by Facebook that they had shared false content. And this is something Facebook does. They did this to Terrence K. Williams, and this is how you have to hit these people. You have to hit them hard. Weeks ago, Facebook censored a post of mine which truthfully stated Joe Biden is not the president-elect. So I got lawyers involved, she said, Saturday via Twitter. Conclusion: PolitiFact uncensored the post and admitted they lied by rating my post false. The fact checkers are lying for Democrats. And you can believe this, ladies and gentlemen, because you see it. You see it, that's what it is. The note from PolitiFact reads as follows. Correction. PolitiFact originally labeled this video false in our capacity as a third-party fact checker for Facebook. On November 20th, an appeal to that decision was made on behalf of Ms. Owens. PolitiFact approved the appeal on November 20th, determined that a correction was appropriate, and removed the false rating. Wow. Now that's PolitiFact. That's their statement. An article goes on to say, at 8 months pregnant, I unfortunately cannot fight on the ground alongside patriots like I'm used to. But I'm taking every measure to fight these communists in our courtroom, Owens said in a follow-up post. It is my goal to expose these lying fact checkers one by one. Joe Biden is not the president-elect, and that's a fact. That's a fact. And these people, these soft-headed people, man, they up there hollering about Joe Biden's president. Joe Biden the president. I mean, and you see what they do. They stir up so much hate for this man, unfounded hate for this guy, that for the president, that makes it really easy to sell this garbage to the public. And a lot of people don't even know how this stuff works, man. A contested election. They don't even understand how the process works. Well, hell, these are the same people who blindly vote. They don't know anything about policies. They know nothing about politics. They'll argue you down about it, but they don't know nothing about it. They're the first ones to say, "Oh, no, I don't know about politics." So what are you voting for? You're just blindly voting for somebody, and you don't know anything about their politics. All you know is orange man bad, hate Trump. Anybody going against Trump, you're going to vote for him, just on that merit alone. And that's sad. That is sad that people are that shallow and people are that sheep-minded. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. It goes on to say, the Blexit founder told the Daily Wire on Saturday that she reached out to PolitiFact on November the 20th with legal representation and immediately heard back with PolitiFact admitting their error. Language from a lawyer at PolitiFact, according to Candace Owens, read as follows. Upon first glance, this video from Ms. Owens was labeled false from PolitiFact in error. We already have removed the label from the video, and you should now be able to see it unobstructed. As we're about 25 minutes into this, we still don't know how or why the post was labeled false. We are investigating and hope to share more information with you formally on Monday. And that's their response to her. And Candace Owens would go on to say that Owens said that she was not further briefed on the supposed error, and that she'd felt the retraction wasn't enough. She wanted PolitiFact to admit publicly that they had falsely fact-checked her. She says, "I wanted to show that these fact-checkers just lie, and they usually go unchecked because most people don't have the money, don't have the time, and don't have the platform to go after them." And she said, "I have all three." With the pressure from Owens' legal representation, PolitiFact issued the correction, which she shared with the public on Saturday. That was a win. And another major win, she said, was PolitiFact essentially admitting that Joe Biden is not the president-elect. Owens, who's currently suing fact-checkers from USA Today and Lead Stories, explained to the Daily Wire that she knew she had to reach out with legal representation if she wanted to get results with this latest fact check. She said that in her experience, when she's tried to appeal to fact checks through the system, she's been stonewalled. As she says, these people are sitting back thinking they're the gods of tech, opinion checkers, they're censorship lords. And she's also said it was that past treatment by fact checkers that sparked Owens' suit, which was announced earlier this month. She has launched her own legal website to raise funds for the pricey battle. This stuff costs money, and they know this. See, they know that most people don't have the money and resources to fight them. So they know this. So this is why they do what they do. But thank God we have people like Candace Owens who can fight the fight, who's going to make an example. Like, look, you're not going to push these false narratives and try to silence people you're not going to infringe on someone's First Amendment rights and just get away with it. That's going on too much, way too much. It's got to stop. So kudos to Candace Owens for fighting back and doing that. And if you guys want to read more on the full article, it's on the Tatum Report. Like I said, man, Tatum Report is wonderful. This is where I'm getting my news from and delivering it fresh to you guys. Hot and fresh, man. Like fresh donuts from Krispy Kreme. Get your donuts, baby. Get that Wolf News. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching this episode of Wolf News. There will be more news coming. Stay tuned, stick around, and remember, God loves you. Take care of each other, and you are victors, never victims. Until the next time, have a blessed day.